Is this thing on? Yeah. The little thingies are doing the up and down thingy, and well, the music is still going. So let me pull that down a little bit. I think that'll work. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Is this goes like this, and there are people here. Cool. We got people in the chat. We got Slug and Hex. They'll be on in just a moment. Yeah. Hey, my name is Derek. I'm the owner, creator, and head silicone slinger at Amavidi, where we make silicone toys for adults. And yeah, we're going to be talking to Slug and Hex from ToyBotToys. They'll be joining us here in just a minute or so. And we got people in the chat, which is awesome. So, yeah. George is not here. She's actually out there in the interwebs someplace. She's going to be helping remotely this evening through the magic of the interwebs. And so she is being wonderful and helping me remotely this evening. And I wanted to say thank you to her for being so awesome and being helpful even when she's not here. So yeah. Ooh, Dub, how you doing? Dub Sativa's in the house. Good to see you. So yeah. Did you see that on my Patreon screen, I ran out of room. I was trying to get everybody. I ran out of time also. I ran out of room to get everybody on the screen. I got too many patrons now, and I've got to rework that screen, which is awesome. I want to say thank you to every single one of you who have been patrons and have been supporting us in what we do. And that has been so awesome. And you have been wonderful to us. So, Nearly Ghouls, wonderful to see you. Nice to see you as well. So, without further ado, let me bring in, no, that's just me. That's just me. Let me bring in Slug and Hex. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi. How's it going?
Now, just to be clear, we have Slug on the left, and then we have Hex on the right. Am I right there?
Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. You were part of Shop Dad's design competition, which we went over last week. Now, were you able to watch and participate?
Oh, we watched every second of it.
Oh,
it was
man.
A lot of silent couch time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what did you think when we were going over those and you saw your designs on screen and we were tearing them apart? What did you think?
I don't think y'all tore apart anything.
No?
I was thinking, I'm so anxious, I want to vomit.
Yeah, the whole time. Especially like the longer, because the knotted section was the longest, right? The longer it went without seeing ours, I knew it was going to go one of two ways. And that made it so much worse.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Now, now for everybody that's in either listening to this live or catching it afterward, we went through and we kind of critiqued, and I don't want to use the word critique. We reviewed each of the designs, and now Shop Dad had his rubric that he went into, and he kind of let me do the pop, what do you want to call it? The peanut gallery commentary. Because I didn't have anything to do with the judging or the rubric or anything like that. And so, did we miss anything as we were talking about them? Because you guys did the Turnpike and the Asmodeus. Those two were yours, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, did we miss anything in those designs?
I remember both of y'all calling the knot on Turnpike a sponge. that stuck with me a little bit. So like the Jersey Devil is depicted a bunch of different ways, right? And sometimes it's depicted very gaunt, for lack of a better term. And it was kind of like a sunken in, decaying sort of thing going on there. That's what that was supposed to be.
I remember saying that it looked a little bit like a morel, kind of a mushroom, kind of a fungus
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that one in particular, too, we actually had already made it and shipped one out.
Yeah.
There's already like 3 that exist. One that's in our personal collection, and we had already actually sent one, and Bat had already received it. So we know it works.
Okay, gotcha. Now, who is Bat?
Bat, Batty Bombshell being the person that we collabed with on the model itself. They had ordered, I guess, what we will probably end up talking about, a stick. And so we decided to make them a surprise matching turnpike to send with their package. So they'd actually gotten it a few days before the stream.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, we kind of just dove straight into the turnpike.
Right.
Now, I want to back up a couple of steps.
Okay.
Because I kind of just dove into it. Tell me how you got started. Because as I understand it, you kind of just started not too long ago. You had your first drop just within the last, 6-8 weeks?
Yeah. It was March 1st was our first drop.
Okay.
I've only been, so I do all of our models, right? I sculpt them all. I've only been doing 3D sculpting for, I guess now it being April, about 8 months. Yeah, that's I really still have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to pretty much anything. So we're just kind of making it work, and so far it's working pretty well, I'd like to think.
The kind of thing about it is the whole reason this exists is because of TikTok.
Yeah, that's exactly why it exists. It's because of TikTok.
We started getting Dark Path TikTok
Amanda.
suggested to us. So this is directly Amanda's fault that we do this. And Slug had always been an artist and was kind of trying to find a different thing, and we kind of just like, we could do that.
I've done a million things. Just like regular painting, digital art, did blacksmithing for a little bit. Just anything that I can do to like make something, I've probably done it.
Yeah.
And this was just like a step in that, and this one took off for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Now
but this one did.
Now our apartment's full of 3D printers and dildos.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Interesting.
probably 200 dongs and 3 printers in this house. So
Wow. So Dark Path, you start seeing their TikToks.
Yes.
That's Amanda. And she's been a guest on before. So like George is saying in the chat, you can go back to the archives and check out that conversation. That was a lot of fun. And then somehow you got it in your head that you could sling silicone?
yeah, well, I've worked with silicone in the past before, like very, very small amounts. I worked at a haunted house for 13 years.
Mm.
And we used a lot of gel tin and a lot of like liquid latex and things like that. So I'd already had a somewhat understanding on how to like go about the silicone stuff. So it was just like the real crux of the whole situation was, okay, how do I 3D model anything and then make it real? that was kind of the actual hurdle.
Okay.
We're
So
lucky enough to start doing this in the wiki era where we can get get on the Only Goblins. Your videos were coming out, and we could and Amanda has the training models.
Oh yeah.
So it's a good
Those did
time to try to
Gotcha.
learn to do this without, I mean, you're going to make a ton of mistakes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe to streamline, at least know where your end goal is when you're starting.
Yeah, I mean, between Shop Dad's Wiki, which goes into so much detail. And then Manda, Dark Path, she has her 3D models that you can start with, and you can 3D print those. And then, the videos that I put out, between those 3 sources, you can get started very easily.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I've actually sent over some stuff to Shop Dad to hopefully help some of the newer people with 3D modeling, if they ever get added to the wiki. but
Shop Dad out of town.
But I've got a really nice alpha pack that's got a bunch of like usable textures and stuff like that are totally free use, and I don't care if you make money off of them or not.
Good.
Yeah,
I use them. Go for it.
Because Slug actually models almost exclusively in Nomad at this point, which kind of has some of the lightest information on the wiki. It's just, I mean, a lot of people, they'll start something in it and then they'll move it into Blender or something. We've been running start to finish in Nomad.
Now, Nomad is on an iPad, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And it's like $14?
$14.99, yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting Procreate. Like, it's just like
Yeah,
another
it's
standard iPad app at this point.
$5 more than Procreate, and I couldn't recommend it enough for anybody that just wants to maybe figure it out.
It's insanely inexpensive to get into.
Absolutely. And it's not set up like a traditional 3D modeling software either. It's set up more like Photoshop. It's like made for an artist in mind.
Good.
It'll make sense for any digital artist. That's why I was able to figure it out.
Okay. So you had your first drop. Well, let's see. You got started about like 8 months ago. You had your first drop, we'll call it 8 weeks ago. And then you participated in the design competition and nailed it coming out of the gate.
I had no idea that we would get what is basically second place twice. I didn't know that would happen at all. I at the end where Shop Dad like forgot somebody, I was like, or we didn't know he forgot somebody. There's like, there's one more after this. I was like, oh great, so we're not the tie he was talking about. No, we were the tie he was talking about. It was awful.
Now, do you happen to have any of the Turnpike or the Asmodeus? Do you have one of those handy?
I've got this is the new master for the Turnpike.
Yeah,
Hex can go grab the actual
compare.
Yeah. So I've been messing around with the new filament. This is PVB. It's like ABS, but it's not ABS. You don't have to have an enclosure, and it's not super toxic and stuff like that. And it smooths with alcohol instead of acetone. So this is like, it's like, you probably can't even really see it on camera. It's super shiny. It is incredibly smooth. But that's the new master versus the original one.
So there's some knot height changes, some slight shaft changes. The tips are a little less pointy.
And the spikes are bigger on the wings because they like to bubble.
And bigger wing spikes. This one's in a medium, in what we are probably going to call Turnpike's signature color, is the
red
dual tone shimmer red with the black and white.
Now, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try to see if I can pull up picture.
There it is.
Okay, so, and you guys are still here. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah. So here's the thing with the one that's on screen right now. So that's the one that's on screen that I turned in for the finished is closer to the one that we actually have. That's completely finished. And then it's a little bit different than the new master. So the new master's got a shorter shaft, even though the shaft on the original one isn't actually as long as it looks. It was just kind of like people were weary about it. So I shortened it up just a little bit more. And
Okay.
the tip is not nearly as pointy. That one, the original one, is like super pointy. The one in that picture is very pointy. This one's been rounded out quite a bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that's the one the adjusted model is the one we intend to.
That's the one that's going to be on
Launch,
the
yeah.
on the shop.
Okay. Gotcha. Now that was the Turnpike, and that was based off of the Jersey Devil,
Yes.
which is, I think this was the
Yeah, that was the first image we used. It's like the goofiest picture we could find.
yeah.
He just looks like a silly little guy.
Yeah, I don't know why they drew him shaped quite like that, but it's pretty good. It looks like he's wearing. I think somebody in the chat the other day during the contest, it looked like he was wearing Crocs,
It does kind of look like
and I have to agree.
The shoes. I know, it's the shoes.
It's great. They're like made of steel. I don't know why.
he's got a lot to do.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so there goes Fiona. Oh, jeez, she was over here crowding me. So now you were using PVB on that one, and you're experimenting with a
Yeah.
new process. I haven't had a chance to work with the PVB. I did try ASA, which smooths. It prints like PLA,
Yes.
so it's very easy to print, but it smooths with acetone,
Right.
like ABS does. So I've been wanting to play with PVB.
PVB does print basically exactly the same as PLA. My one concern with this is I'm still going to have to clear coat it. I'll probably end up priming it first before I clear coat it. It's really soft. It's almost mushy kind of feeling, specifically in the bottom, which is a little alarming, but the outside's pretty rigid. But it's almost like, I feel like if I were to try to dig my nail into it, I could.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And was it like
Yeah.
that when it was printed, when it was first printed?
No, when it was printed, it was like regular PLA. It was super rigid, and
Interesting.
I may have used too much alcohol on this. I'm not sure.
We're experimenting.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course.
there's not even a lot of like information on this filament on the internet
Yeah.
because it's expensive. Like, why print with that when you can just print with ABS? Because I don't have an enclosure. That's why. But you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah. That's why I tried ASA, is because, it prints as easily as PLA. You don't need an enclosure and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to keep talking about PVB.
Sure.
I do want to dive into that with you later, because not everybody's going to want to talk about that.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah. Now, then there was Asmodeus, which I thought was interesting. That was one. I want to pull that one up here. That one.
Yeah. I do remember Shop Dad saying that one doesn't make a lot of sense to him. That's fine.
Yeah.
That one is entirely based off the model's tattoos that we worked with.
Okay.
She's really into body horror, and so are we.
Most
Gotcha.
of her tattoos feature eyeballs and
Teeth.
teeth. She's got a lot of like toothy maws with eyes inside of them.
It's just like your standard body horror tattoo kind of filler thing going on.
And so
Okay.
and she does a lot of shibari work and stuff, so her tattoos are pretty heavily like featured. There's a lot of close-ups in her work and things like that where you can really see her tattoos. And so we decided that a fun way to make it very
Very vi.
very vi would be to base it as such.
Okay. So this was very much in tune with the creator, the content creator that you were working with.
Yes.
Okay.
They're
Gotcha.
local and like we know them personally.
Yeah.
So we felt like it was easy for us to go to them and be like, would you like to do this? And what would be cool? And
Exactly. And think of it like this. So like when this contest was announced,
we did this.
we didn't know anyone. Like we didn't know anybody. So it was like, okay, I guess we'll just latch on to who do I know that's a that's an SW. And I was like, oh, there's my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we
that
started
kind
this day one of the contents
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah, we put this up
Okay.
day one.
See, that kind of gives it a little bit more context, and it lends itself to more of a story about, you know,
Right.
where it came from and why it exists the way that it does. Interesting.
Yeah, so
All right.
hopefully we can do some once this is real. It's in this purple gold because everything we were printing was in this purple gold. All of our masters are like purple and gold. This also is probably going to be one of our first toys we do in a large, if it all works well for us and we can pull this size easily, with a little bit of reworks from this printing. But we just think this one would lend itself really well to a larger size because of the
style
shape.
of toy it is.
Its silhouette is so distinct. It's kind of my favorite thing about it is that sideways shape it has, and I think at a solid 10 inches it would just be very striking.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we kind of glossed over it. And I assume that one been around for a little bit. So that's in PLA, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is PLA.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about different kinds of, these are all 3D printed.
Yes.
And there are different kinds of filament that you can run through your 3D printer. And then there's PLA, and I'm not going to go into like what PLA stands for mostly because I can't remember. But there's PLA, there's ABS, there's ASA, there's PVB, there's PETG or PETG. There's
TPU.
TPU. And these are all just different filaments and different materials that you can run through your printer that have different properties. And, you know, some of them are harder. Some of them are, they print at different temperatures. And it's just a matter of, you know, what is it that you're trying to do? Like Kenton over at Funkit. He prints everything in ABS because he does, he prints negative molds. So he'll actually print the mold negative, and then he does a slush polishing with acetone inside his negative, and then he casts inside an ABS. So, you know, he prints everything in ABS. That's his process. I print almost everything in PLA and then, you know, process it afterward. I've done a few in ASA just because I can then vapor smooth it with acetone. PVB is nice because you can smooth it with alcohol.
Yeah,
and each one of these
isopropyl.
Yeah, each one of these different filaments has different properties that you can use to get the different results that you're going for. So, you know, everybody just kind of comes at it in their different ways. So, it was just kind of a little sidebar because I think we kind of just threw a whole alphabet at people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what any of it means. I got no idea.
Okay, so we kind of hit on the Turnpike, Asmodeus, and we talked a little bit about your background in the special effects in the haunted houses and things like that. Now, is there a bit of a theme? You got the Asmodeus and then Turnpike. So there's
very horror.
Is it horror? Is it cryptid? Is it?
So we do have another cryptid model. That was the first model. That was like the one that really started it all.
Oh, you're gonna get out.
So there's Champ, which is based off the monster of Lake Champlain.
Oh.
That's the one that we sell in the shop. That's technically Champ 2.0.
Technically.
Yeah. This is actually the first toy I ever successfully made. This is
Chonky Champ
Chunky
1.0.
Champ. Yeah, 1.0. Notice how
It's very wide.
very wide it is.
Very
yeah.
quickly.
So that was the first rendition that was actually concepted by Hex. I made it in all of 20 minutes and then had it printed in about 3 hours.
We were really determined just to make something.
On a really bad Ender 3 that I bought off a buddy for $50 that I had running at like 120 milliseconds, which is very fast. For anybody that knows anything about 3D printers, that's really fast. You probably shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that. So the master for that model in particular looks awful.
It's like 4 months old and it's still sticky.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
it's still
It
a
never
very
quite cured all the way
sticky
through.
toy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's full of tears.
The whole base is like torn off on one side.
Yeah, so that-
Oh, I love it.
It just
Save
lives
it.
on the shelf with all the
Save
other
it.
ones.
Yeah.
As like their ugly stepsister that
Yeah.
just no
So-
one touches. It just lives there.
The redheaded
Yeah.
stepchild.
Never get rid of it.
No, I never will. I got rid of the mold for it. That thing's long gone.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. That was the first time I ever made a glove mold. Thanks for that. I really appreciate that from you, teaching me how to make a glove mold. I'll never make another glove mold in
So
my
we
life,
never
probably.
have to do it again.
Yeah.
What? You don't like glove
Oh,
molds?
No,
You
I
don't like-
hated it.
Oh, I love them.
Now we do mold
Okay,
shells.
you do hybrids.
shells.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
Nepenthes.
That's the scrapped Nepenthes.
The one that the near clear destroyed.
Yeah, that's that one.
Oh, near clear. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't like that stuff either.
But yeah, as for like theming, I mean, I think those two just happened to theme out.
Zam's kind of horror-y.
Yeah, so I mean, like background wise, we're both big horror fans. We have a massive horror media collection. We collect physical media, VHS, things like that. I'm witchy. So all of our stuff some of it has a vibe. I say some of it. Most of it has a vibe that maybe is not originally intentional, but it's kind of come that way. Slug tends to model things that end up kind of buggy, like bug light.
I don't know why that is. That's just how it happens.
That's how it happens. I'd say we have 6 things, including Turnpike and Asmodeus in production. Of those 6, one is definitely nothing like our horror style at all. Because I came up with it and I think I'm funny. But all the other ones I'd say are pretty similar. Like Zam especially has got those notes on the front, and I think that's a common theme in what we do is like the nodules, as I call them. Nepenthes isn't out yet. Nepenthes will come out. This Nepenthes is our pitcher plant.
Okay.
Knotted pitcher plant on this little flower base. It's got kind of a catch cup at the top here. But it has the same kind of nodule details.
Okay.
The front and the back. I really like it's a good texture, and it shows up in soft still. But then with people choosing their firmness, they can kind of decide how rigid of a texture they're looking for. I feel like it goes between the different firmnesses. I almost said softnesses. That's not right. It moves between those easily. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our stuff kind of has similar details like that. I'd say we do pretty high texture, not like tight texture, but like all over texture. Some very like prominent texture, I'd say is more. We don't do a lot of fine, tiny details. We want it to show up even in those soft firmnesses, because that's what we typically cast the prototypes in, is in soft to medium.
Because I do a bunch of in-house testing.
God. But like, here, pass me it. Let's see. So,
oh, you big un.
Yeah. So what we're kind of working on, let's have a
this
little.
This is really old.
Let's have a little preview that no one else has seen before, because it's fun and I can.
Oh.
So when we printed, we have a bunch of
old masters.
Bondoed masters that never got made into anything ever. This one sits on the shelf, and there's 8 in our closet at the bottom in a pile.
I'm never gonna use them.
Just shame plastic. So this is one that's been on our shelf, and I have convinced Slug to remake it.
I have completely remodeled this.
It is an ogre-based maw with jumbo piercings.
Wow.
I'm in love with this thing. I have always been in love with this thing.
Yeah.
And now that we've sculpted enough,
Yeah.
The new one looks way cooler.
it's got more piercings. We're doing some like orky teeth things that I really, really like.
Yeah.
This will probably be our other model that we actually launch in a large. I am stupid excited for this to actually be real, because I've been looking at this for like 6 months on our shelf. Yeah. So little sneak peek of something.
Fun fact, Shop Dad has a thing on the wiki that's like, should you start a store? And it's got a list of a bunch of like things you need and like prices and how much they'll cost you. I don't think they're all that accurate. I like to think we're still in the hole. I've probably wasted over $600 worth of silicone and God knows how much PLA.
Our cats love the PLA though, so it's like free cat toys kind of trade-off. Maybe that like budget helps.
Yeah.
I tell people, just to get started, budget $1,000 to $1,500.
Oh, easy.
Absolutely. Just to get started.
I've got that in printers alone.
Yeah. Well, that's just one printer, and Shop Dad says buy them in pairs. So we keep talking about Shop Dad and Dark Path and everything. Who has been the most helpful shops? Because there seems to be this theme about all these the community, and the community has been so helpful. Who has been the most helpful to you?
Which is really weird, in my opinion, that everybody is as helpful as they are.
What do you mean?
Let me start with that. So this community is completely different from any other community I've ever been in my entire life ever.
Yeah.
Especially artist community.
Yeah. It's so weird that a store that makes a product similar to a product that I am making is willing to go out of their way and help me with like a question I have. It's crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense. I love it. It's great. That's what makes this community so awesome. But it's really weird. And because of that, I never reached out to anyone really except for Shop Dad, because he already had the wiki.
Yeah.
But as for shops that have been super helpful, I've watched every Dildo 10 to whatever that they go to of yours.
Yeah.
I've read, well, I don't read. Hex read most of the wiki to me.
It's a good bedtime story.
Yeah, it's great. It's my favorite. If it wasn't for Chillo, I would not know what a mold shell was or where even to start, which is a resource on the wiki. Love that. Super helpful.
We've even gone to designing our own like variations of mold shells at this point.
Yeah, I've figured out
Good.
mold shells to almost like a T.
Allison, something squishy, is
a massive help, and I don't even know if she knows she's helping, but she helps more than probably anybody else, honestly.
her embodiment of chaos and just we have a giant gummy worm hanging in our shower. I don't know what to do with it, but I bought one because I felt like I needed to buy one.
Yeah.
And then as for other new shops with Kraken, Monster Labs, we did, doing that Zam custom, which is our first custom we've ever really did for their double suction cup wings.
Yeah.
It was a trade.
It was a trade. Yeah.
Like we traded the Zam for a set of wings, that was really cool to me. Like I love that. I love trading stuff. Like if you make something and you want something that I make, and you approach me with a trade offer, I'm gonna take it.
We're punk kids. We love a trade.
I'm gonna
bargain.
take it. I'm gonna take it. Like 10 times out of 10, I'm gonna take the trade. I just think that's neat. I love it.
We love a good bartering system. Yeah, just the fact that like this community is so willing to trade secrets, things that took them a very long time to figure out, and they're willing to say, here, you don't have to spend the time to figure that out anymore. I come from a traditional art school, art college background. Everyone is a competitor with each other. You are competing with your classmates. Hope you're better.
Stupid.
To get your spot in the major.
Stupid.
If only 300 kids get in, you can't tell each other what you're doing. And so being able to just be like, hey, I don't understand near clear, and everyone be like, oh, this is how you do it. Also, it's dumb, but that's the general consensus. Everyone's like, sucks, but here's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is great, and the fact that resource is so readily available, and they don't really have to know you. Like it's not because the traditional art world's an insider group. Once you work your way up and you know the right people, then you can ask questions of those people.
Yeah, but y'all didn't care. Like y'all just were like, here's how you do it since day one. I mean, like one 3D model on my Twitter and bam, I can ask anybody anything.
Yeah, what I have found is, and when I've talked to other makers, is that we want to see that you're trying. You know, you come up to us and you just want us to tell you. We're going to be like, come on. Yeah, but if you have attempted, or if you've tried, or if you've at least made an effort, we'll word vomit. We'll tell you. We'll show you. We'll give you everything. But we just want to see that you've tried. What have you done wrong? And then
a lot.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned punk.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen a poster that you put up of that, and also I saw the Dead Kennedys shirt that you posted a couple of days ago. And
oh yeah,
you can see some Danzig posters and my Elvira poster in the back of some of our photos.
But you're vending at a punk show coming up? Is that?
Yes, I am.
What is that all about?
Summer Shredathon. I have vended many a punk show with many a different item in my life. The DFW punk scene is like super open.
One of the bars here just every week does a market. Like,
yeah, like we
wow.
call it home base. If you're in DFW, the bar's called Three Links. It's in Deep Ellum. It's right in the middle of Deep Ellum. But every Sunday they do like a artist market, or just like a local market. Like you can just like walk in and it's like a mini flea market full of art and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah.
And by the way, DFW is Dallas Fort Worth.
Yes.
Texas.
Yes, Texas.
Okay.
Sorry, I forget I have to. I'm
close enough that I know.
I'm talking to the whole world.
I'm sorry, we're in Texas. We just assume everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm in Oklahoma, so I'm close enough. I know.
You do know what we're talking
about.
Yeah.
But we have friends who show promote and do things like that, and they built a all-day show. This is like a 3 to 9 p.m. like
I'm gonna be there at like 12, 7
house festival.
Yeah, it's at a house.
So if you do want to go, you can DM us because it's an Ask a Punk kind of thing. The address isn't published. DM us and we'll tell you where it is. That's the level of punk show we're getting into here.
It's a lot of fun though, and it's it's just a bunch of stupid kids doing stupid kid shit. Really, is what it comes down to.
Now, so to bring it back, has that punk influence has that influenced your style of toys in any way?
Maybe
Yeah, I guess kinda.
I'm that like internet meme where it's like,
I mean, everybody loves the Misfits, right? I guess that's horror.
or, I don't know if you could say everyone loves the Misfits.
I love the Misfits.
But I'm that like internet meme where it's like the like gothy alternative person and they walk into their bedroom and it's Hello Kitties and stuffed animals.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of her toy cores are in pastels, because I am that pastel bitch. But I'd say yes, just because of like our horror crossover. We are like in our heads, we are like dirty, stinky punk kids forever, even though we're both almost 30. And so we're just like, oh, that's cool. It needs to be cool. It needs to look awesome. I'm like, I want someone to look at it and go, oh, that's sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's our theme. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. I grew up in a little bit different era of punk.
Right.
Yeah. I grew up when the Dead Kennedys were, putting out their. I'm not going to date myself too much.
You just did.
You
Yeah.
just said Dead Kennedys were putting out something.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, Dead Milkmen.
Are we talking original Black Flag? Or
Henry Rollins.
okay,
and,
see, like you just did it again.
Yeah. Bitchin' Camaro.
I don't even know what that is.
Just YouTube, Bitchin' Camaro. Yeah. Just look it up. Pseudocyle tendencies. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Just went down a rabbit hole in my head.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of mentioned it. I'm like a avant-garde proto-punk person, which makes, I've said that to people and go, oh, pretentious. It sounds a little pretentious, but it's the only way to say exactly like what I'm talking about. My back patch on my music vest is the slits. I like weird stuff. I like Alex Vega with the motorcycle chain. I like early Velvet Underground where there's just intermission of glass breaking. Solid. Great.
Noise.
Perfect. Love some noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love the Cramps.
The Cramps are actually probably a good inspo band for what we do.
Definitely.
I want to remind everybody, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. Because I'm going to be wrapping up here on my stuff in just a bit. So if you have questions for ToyBot, Slug, and Hex, get them in the chat. George will wrangle them for me.
Of course.
And I'm going back through and see. Oh, I have one thing. There was one thing that you mentioned earlier, and we kind of glossed over it. The stick.
Oh, man.
Now, wasn't that supposed to be like an April Fool's thing?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I am the pet play enthusiast. I think it's silly that there's not as much. I know MFA is, I think, one of the only other people who makes a chew toy out of silicone, advertised as such. Obviously, you can put whatever you want in your mouth. It's your own money.
Yeah. Now, when you say pet play, you're talking about pet play for people.
Yes. Pet play for humans, human pups. Okay. Don't put that into Twitter, but learn that one. But I wanted to make like chew toys, like the traditional, you can buy the bone gags, you can buy fairy stuff like that. They're very, very solid. They're very hard to hold on to. I find they make your jaw hurt very quickly, and it kind of defeats the purpose of putting it in your mouth. If after 5 minutes, the only thing you want is it out of your mouth. And we were watching other shops kind of pre-post their April Fool's things probably about a week before. And I was like, should we do April Fool's? So it's like, I don't know what we do. It's like stick. I was like, oh, okay. Because I've been saying this forever. Like, I've been saying this for probably like a month that I wanted to make a chew toy.
We were walking around like PetSmart looking for inspiration.
Yeah, I'm looking at every dog toy that's in a PetSmart. We found one that was a stick, and we're like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like the way it was shaped.
Had this little prong that we stole. You know. And so
very sticky.
we put this together in less than a week.
I actually sculpted that in all of 30 seconds in between a game of League of Legends. That's literally
shows
what
how
I
good
did.
they've gotten at Nomad, right?
I don't know if I'd call it good, but it's a stick.
It's a stick. We made 5, posted 5, 2 sold in the first 10 minutes.
First 3 minutes.
First 3 minutes.
And then the other 2 sold in the first 10 minutes, and then we finally sold the stupid green
that
one about a week ago.
We opened 10.
Nobody likes green. I don't get it. That's my favorite color.
We opened 10 customs. They've all now been sold. Stick is our best-selling item.
I've sold more sticks. I've sold 15 sticks.
Stick is the only product we have 2 molds for.
Yep.
It's not what I thought.
That
we'd
is
have 2 molds
awesome.
For. But yeah, after a bunch of bite testing, firm works really, really well. We've got some. If any of us can stop being like sick for long enough to actually try something, I do have 20A. That could potentially be like gag level. I need to mess with it. Moldstar 15's got a really good bite, but it's that blue color. I love that color.
You can get it in translucent if you get the A16.
Yeah, I just love the color. So I might even just, we can slide some stuff in that color.
I accidentally made Moldstar green the other day.
I think it's a really nice color. But this is definitely like the first in a product line that I'm calling my pet project.
Yeah,
I'm fun.
that's fun.
Yeah, I'm hilarious.
So like stuff like that, like you can definitely tell the things that I came up with and the things that Hex came up with.
Yeah,
they're completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nice though. Like people that buy from us will get at least a little bit of variety.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of these as just squishies, like in soft. Like people get them, it's medium soft, whatever. They got a nice stretch.
That's
to
a
them.
medium.
This is a medium. It's fun.
That's my personal stick.
So that's 0050 probably.
Yeah, 0050.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, surprisingly,
I think
you can put a decent amount of bite force on a 0050.
Yeah, I've chomped it.
Oh, good.
Like if you really chomp,
I've chomped the shit out of that.
like you could bite through it if you really tried. So it probably wouldn't be a good gag toy.
Yeah,
But you really won't leave teeth marks in it unless you're putting some.
there's a little bit, but
like not a lot. And so then in the 10A, it holds up surprisingly well. I'm sitting there molars just like gnawing away like it's a carrot. And it's got nothing on it. Now if I use like my canine teeth, which are pretty sharp, I could probably get a dent in it. But I was actually really pleasantly surprised with how well just a standard firm actually takes that level of pressure.
Huh.
Like I said, it's probably not going to be the gag style I would go with, but we're going to try to.
It's also dragon skin, which is notoriously strong. So
Yeah. By the way, you can pigment the Moldstar. If you use Silk Pig, you can pigment it. You can go darker. Yeah, you can go darker. So you could go to like black.
Pretty green color.
yeah, I think you want to just. Add
It's an
some sparkle
obnoxious
to it.
green, but it is a.
Hey, that's rude. I love that.
I'm also an obnoxious green, so it really just like works out.
I've got a bunch of stuff that we've been trying. So obnoxious green, right? This one's got a tango slot.
Yeah.
I've
Awesome.
been working on almost like an insert that can be used with almost any toy that I'm hopefully at some point going to throw up on the wiki once I work out the odds and ends on it, that you can just plop it in, boom, tango.
Yeah, into the mold, and it sits kind of like how people do a suction cup that sits on top. It's like a 3D printable version for a tango. And even in that Zam, because for those who don't know, the We Vibe Tango is the main bullet vibe that most shops have been basing their like vibe compatible things with. It's really strong. The thing tries to take off in your hand. So even through the ZAM, which is not designed to be that way, you can actually feel it surprisingly well from the top. So I think,
Interesting.
especially if someone doesn't have one and like is thinking about like making something with one, get one and just start putting it in random toys. It's surprising like how thick the silicone can be and how far away from the actual vibe that the top of it can be, and the amount of reverb that you still get off of it.
By the way, I'd have to double check, but I think
it's the version 1, the Tango. But
what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, geez. My brain is just gone.
Mushy time.
The connection. I'll come back to it.
Suction cup?
No, it's not the suction cup. It's the connection for connecting for a mounting connection. What's the word
I know
for
what
it?
you're talking about.
My
God. They're on the
what's
F machines.
Yes, that connection. What is that connection called? Vacuum lock.
Vacuum lock.
It is the same diameter as the Tango.
You're lying to me right now. You tell me I could make a vacuum lock thing and then just okay. All right. You gave me an idea. Appreciate it.
It's the same.
But, yeah.
Well, it's if the silicone is soft enough, it will slip onto the vacuum lock connection. And actually, you don't want vacuum lock. Thank you, Angel. You don't want to actually make it so that it interconnects because it'll tear the silicone. You just want the silicone to be soft enough to slip over it. And I was going to say, maybe put a little bit of either cornstarch or baby powder on the inside to act as just a little bit of lube, so that you can slip it on and slip it off. But yeah. Let's see. What else? Did I have anything else in my notes that we needed to get to? What about you guys? Did you have any questions for me?
Questions for you from us?
Yeah. Yeah, from...
Do what?
Siren.
Oh, Nina had a comment. I love this one. Reminds me of the game Dog Toy or Sex Toy. In this case, the answer is yes.
Yes, exactly.
I'd love the answer to be yes. I'm really gonna try to do not just puppy themed things because that seems to be where most of the toys. Oh, I got a mouse in the works. I think a carrot would be cute. I've even thought about a little hay bundle as cow like little outfits become more and more popular. I think it would be really cute, like little tied at the end. Especially we can do some harder stuff and some flat backed molds a lot easier. Really cool for hand painting. But I do intend to kind of have, in my brain, we kind of have two separate lines. That's like a pet play.
It's basically like two stores
running simultaneously with the dildo line.
I do the weird, scary stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is really cute. Here's an idea. And now you have to make it." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
I guess I'm gonna
sculpt.
have to make it."
I can come up with things that don't work, and then try to get Slip to make it. We do actually have one more model tease. This I've actually posted.
Oh.
This is my colors, by the way. You'll see, I'll post multiple toys in this like pastel drip. It's because Slug made it for me. This is my colors. This, I'm calling it Siren. I think it's a cute name. Is kind of our beginner model. We wanted to make a slightly smoother, flatter, easier model. It does have a lot of texture.
It's got a bulge, and it's still got a decent
It's easier to
amount
see
of
on the
texture.
master.
Yeah.
It's got all the lines. The front has some nice texture to it as well.
Yeah.
So this is another one we're working on, and there's some texture on the top of it too. But we wanted to have a kind of more
Flop free.
Mm.
plot-free toy.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe a little more
Yeah.
the standard model. And I think for us, this is as we're kind of ballant people. None of our models really have balls. So this is our standard, probably as standard as it gets for us. To something that's a little more streamlined.
Let's see. Angel Devil, do you use a different kind of silicone than your other toys, since usually chewing on toys risks indents or tears?
No. So, I mean, think of it like this.
We thought about it.
Do you buy a dog a toy and expect it to not leave marks? I mean, realistically, like, if you're chewing on something, it's going to leave a mark. So, when designing a chew toy for a human, you just kind of approach it the same way. It's going to leave a mark. But, so, like, all the other chews you can buy are typically for people that suffer or like deal with like
Oral stems and
oral
like
stems and stuff like that.
those necklaces that are chew, and they're solid.
They're solid. They're like solid like rubber. Like it's like chewing on like a pencil eraser. You know. These are way better than that. Like
At least for our needs, people who have like sensitive jaws and stuff like that, those like chew necklaces are very, very solid, and they're good for long term. You know, I mean, you're wearing them every day, they won't leave as many marks because they're solid, and it's to help, you know, for that oral fixation. I'm looking for something a little bit more that can be the oral fixation, but can also be part of the play part of pet play, to kind of
You can
add to the illusion that
stick
you're,
it places.
you can stick it places. It's kind of why we ran the stick as a silly universal toy, kind of Ren and Stimpy log style. But I'm surprised. Yes, jewelry. Thank you. I couldn't mix those words in my head for some reason. But I wanted something that had a little more give, and I'm surprised by how well, like I said, the 10A really takes it. We don't have really sharp teeth, thankfully. So, I mean, you'd have to put in some effort to bite through it. I maybe say, don't play like full-on tug-of-war with it. I mean, you could. Once it's yours, it's yours.
Stretchy, it's strong. You can still bite through it, though.
I'd actually love to make
it does seem like it does seem like a toy that has a lifespan.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, if you chew on it every single day, you're going to wear it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's, again, if you're going to buy a dog toy, they're going to wear it out. You know, that's really how I'm thinking of it. Like,
we did try to keep, you know, it's our lowest priced thing we have.
I did
We
try
did
to keep
also
them
try
as
to
cheap
keep
as I
it
could.
low. Our customs, we only went like $5 above for the customs to try to, because you're gonna put it in your mouth. It's not a forever toy, maybe like some of the other things.
Also, I think anybody that's buying it as a chew toy already knows that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they've already
Chewy people know how much.
yeah. I mean, think about how like it is when you chew on a straw. Like it's not gonna hold up. Like nothing's gonna hold up. You could chew on a brick. That brick ain't gonna hold up.
Or maybe it's something that you get in multiples.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've already had several repeat buyers.
Yeah.
there's a couple of people who own them in multiple firmnesses.
Yep.
For squishing, for chewing. Like I said, once I get the 20A going, I really want to see how much that can take. That I'm probably going to actually physically try to bite through. We'll find out. We'll do a test.
Yeah.
I just wanna see-
Nearly Ghouls. I think this would be amazing orally because silicone tastes so good. I don't know.
It does.
Okay. And have an oral
I think it's
fixation
kinda
because
devoid of flavor.
I'd like the it's got a different temperature. The surface temperature
It is
of
very
it is different
cool.
because it's cool. That's why I really like it. That's also why I think it does, like, people really, grinders are big right now. It's because it's got a cooler surface temperature. And so it's kind of got a good mouthfeel.
Okay. All right. Let's see. An oral fixation because of autism, so I might have to get one. Would benefit from talking to makers who make jewelry to make better chewy fantasy toys. All right.
Yeah, I tried to, like, here's the thing. So I went and looked up, like, jewelry, right? I was trying to find exactly what companies were using. It always just says silicone. All the bigger companies, I'm like, okay, I don't know what. I was trying to see if there was something, like, in researching, seeing if there was something else we should use or things like that. They don't really list it very often. I knew whatever they were using was likely going to be too hard for what I wanted anyway. But yeah, a lot of the listing is just listed as silicone.
Plus, this stuff's body safe, right? So, like, I mean, if for some reason you got a little crazy and you took a little nibble and some came off, it's probably gonna be okay. Not like don't try to do it. Yeah, well, you know.
On purpose. I'm not actually, like, purposely feeding silicone to my cat. She's just a gremlin. Yeah, Tame just commented they actually have a 0050 and a 10A. As they're one of the people who has a couple of these now. But yeah, something that took off in a way we really, really didn't expect. A niche that I wanted to get into, but I guess I wasn't prepared for the sheer amount of enthusiasm it would have immediately in the, like, level of crossover we got. And that's actually been really, really cool. People have been really, really into this kind of, like, silly thing that I made a video on my phone at 11:30 the night before April Fool's Day after I got off work.
That on April Fool's, I was at work for 17 hours.
It was a day.
It was a day.
Yeah.
And the phones just kept going, ching, ching, the Etsy sound. For those who know Etsy, when you sell something in the app, it goes to cha-ching.
It's super loud.
It's very loud.
Yeah.
But it was.
But it's a nice sound.
Yeah.
It's a great sound.
It's really exciting. And those who don't have one, we don't have customs up right now. We're gonna have some pre-mades in our next drop.
Good.
And once we probably get a couple of these models that we've been actually meaning to produce out, we'll put up some more customs. It's definitely something that'll come back.
I was actually gonna hopefully have the new Nepenthes mold done before we did this, and then we both got sick, and I was down for 3 days.
I'm still technically down.
Hex doesn't feel very good. I'm surprised they've saved face this long.
Aw.
I got retail brain.
Yeah.
Aw.
But yeah.
Well, did you see that Shop Dad was in the chat?
No, I haven't looked at chat at all. To be
Yeah.
I just didn't say anything to them.
Shop Dad's cool. Shop Dad helped me with something. He probably doesn't even realize it was me, to be completely honest, because it was a different account. When I first started 3D modeling, I was having a bunch of scaling issues. And so, like, I made this, like, really cool looking model, right? And then I printed it, and, like, the base was, like, way too big. And the tip was, like, damn near non-existent. And I was like, how do I fix this? Shop Dad, help me. And he gave me a bunch of, like, resources, showed me a little tip with a brush tool, and now every time I open, like, to, like, start a new project, I'll import a soda can. So I have a bit of a reference scale. And helps a lot. Shop Dad's pretty cool. That was like my first taste of the community too. I was like, I didn't even think he would even respond, but he did.
Shop Dad is good people's. Chrome Dome is asking, how did you guys choose your shop name?
I got it from a name generator. That's it. I'm not even gonna lie. That's where I got it from.
That's why none of our toys are robots.
That's why it's 2 clowns run a robot store and everything's horror themed. You like that? I do too. I think it's super fitting. It's really on brand for us.
In our cotton candy trans pride colors.
Everybody else had green and purple. so I can't.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't be another green and purple shop. That feels wrong.
They did this when I was not home, by the way. They were just like, this is the name. And I didn't find out till like weeks later that they just put it in a generator.
Woo!
Like till it already existed. I
Yeah.
thought they came up with it.
I
for the
thought I
whole
was a
time.
genius. Hey, man, look. If Childish Gambino can do it, so can I.
I think that's hilarious. Oh, jeez.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Oh my god.
Do you want to tell any stories about Near Clear?
No.
Come on. Come on. You
Okay,
guys-
okay. Only one good thing did happen in us ruining our Nepenthes mold. So the Nepenthes that's partially near clear is chopped right
Oh
here.
my god, I'm gonna go get it. I forgot about that.
I came up with something cool. Oh, I'll answer Tame's question. Tame, Tame was asking if we plan to, what other
oh, yeah,
pet
yeah,
play
yeah.
toys we plan to make. I want to do a milk bone, potentially as a gag. And then I definitely, like I said, I want to do a mouse. I want to do a carrot. I want to do a hay thing. I don't know. Maybe a ball of yarn. That'd be kind of cool. We'll figure it. I got ideas.
Okay.
So this is what the near clear Nepenthes looks like. But I immediately said, what if we made a plug with a matching base and then they're a matching set? Because like people have like themes, right? Well, they'll have like a maw and maybe like a dildo of a character that matches. But I was like, what if they literally are a matching set? The base is exactly the same on both of them. I think it'd be kind of cute. I wouldn't have thought of that if I didn't have a third of a picture plan.
Man, I was so sad. Like I was
So did
so
it just
sad.
so did it just tear off?
Yeah, clean.
Okay.
Yeah, just tore clean off.
Yeah.
I've heard horror
Well-
stories. I thought they were jokes.
Yeah.
I learned.
It's one of the things about Near Clear
After
is
it
that
exploded in our vacuum.
you think it's done. You think it's
Yeah.
done. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not done. It's never done. You give it a day
No.
or two, y'all.
Near
like-
clear
so-
is not for people like us who just really want to see what it looks like really bad.
Yeah. I have to,
So,
like, if I'm
here's
gonna
one of the
pour
things
something
about-
in near clear, I gotta do it before bed.
Yeah. So here's one of the things about Near Clear is that there's the pot life and then there's the cure time, and the pot life is how long it stays liquid before it starts to go off, and that's how long it takes, or that's how long you have to get it into the mold.
Right.
And then usually the cure time is the amount of time that it takes for it to set up. So
Which should have been 5 hours.
right. Okay. So, pot life is usually, 20 to 40 minutes. And then cure time is usually anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe 6 hours, depending. All right. So with Near Clear, it's, I think, 4 or 5 hours, something like that.
I think 0031 is 5 hours, if I remember correct. I haven't looked
Yeah.
at the box since I tore it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Near Clear is that, yes, it cures in about 4 or 5 hours, but it doesn't reach its full hardness for about 24 hours. So if you try to pull it out when it's reached its cure time, it will tear.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. It's flat. Like it is
It's
clean.
yeah, it's a clean tear, surprisingly. Looks like I cut
Mhm.
it with like a pair of scissors.
Yep.
Makes me so sad just looking at it. I've kept it as like a trophy. I'm like, don't do that again, stupid.
It lives in our living room.
It does.
It's the most on display one we have.
One of the other things about Near Clear is that it expands in the vacuum chamber.
Yes, the day I bought the Near Clear, I bought the biggest container that would fit in my vacuum chamber from Smooth On, from Reynolds.
Now,
And
normally-
I knew that part.
Normally when you vacuum silicone, it doubles or triples in size when you vacuum
Right.
it. Yeah, that's standard. But Near Clear, it will quintuple or it basically
6 to 8 times.
yeah.
It's funny, as I
6
told them that when we bought it, like make sure you get a bigger cup. because I don't remember whose interview of this show I was listening to at work, but you're like, it gets really big. And I was like, it gets really big. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Near clear is an animal unto itself, and it needs to, you got to play with it the way that it wants to be played with.
Yeah. I'm going to leave that alone. I want to learn hand painting, and now I can do all the near clear just fine.
All right. Now, I interrupted. Did you guys have any questions for me?
Do you have any questions for Derek? I don't.
I am about 8,000 degrees of fever right now, so my brain's
Oh, okay.
So what about your family? Do they know what you do?
I don't know. I kind of okay. I did air it out on Facebook when we got invited on this show.
So did I. To the point that my ex-coworker came in and says, "You make dildos?" Today, when I was at work.
Okay.
Because I mean, we both work like full-time.
Okay,
day
all right, this is weird, right? I work a very, I wouldn't really call it normal. I work a blue-collar job. I live in Texas. I told my coworkers before I told my parents. And they are very
blue-collar Texas
Texas boys. Yeah, there you go. They're fucking rednecks.
I don't know if my mom knows. My sister knows because she came here when Slug was pouring, and like that's, you got to kind of say something, or that just looks like you're making weird drugs.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
So
welcome to the trap house.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm sure my mom knows. I know my aunt knows. That's weird. She followed us on Twitter before I had even said anything about it on Facebook, so that was really weird.
My coworkers are really into it. I work.
Mine are too. We actually keep a original champ in the work truck.
I work at a reptile store, and it's like local, and so there's only like 8 of us, and I've worked there for 5 years, and we're all really good friends. One of our coworkers, who doesn't use toys at all, she's not interested. She has 2 of our mega flops in her house as a display. My boss keeps coming up to me with like an idea, and I have to be like, that already exists. But he's really trying to come up with stuff.
Yeah.
And so my coworkers are really into it because they have to see me drop off all the packages, because I live next door to a mail place, so I don't have or like work next door to a mail place, so I don't actually have to go to the physical post office.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because there's never a line in the local mailing location that I have to stand in. But I think my coworkers know way more. I don't think my mom cares what I'm doing.
I don't think my mom cares either. It's my grandmother I'm worried about.
Well.
You know, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good question to wrap up on. How about success? What does success look like for you? Was that a serious question?
We're doing this.
Yeah. This is like, so like one of my goals. So back on like the community being weird, right? So when I said like I never really approached anyone because in other communities, like, okay, for instance, I made like skateboards for a while because like skater kid, right? I can't like message Blind, or I can't message Element or Baker or like any other Powell. Like you don't do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that. I could message them on Twitter all day. They're never even going to look at it. You know? So it was goals are obviously, when we first started this was and still is like a massive goal for us, just being on this show right now.
I've listened
wow.
to all of them.
Oh,
Literally all of them. I
Yeah.
only listen to podcasts at work.
Well, and this takes me back to my point. Like I didn't know any other maker in this space. So like other successful shops, I almost looked at them as like, it wasn't almost. I looked at them as like celebrities. Like I looked at Manda as a celebrity, you as a celebrity, Shop Dad as like this
He
soothsayer.
freaked out when he followed us on Twitter.
Yeah, I really did.
It
And
was like a full like.
and when you messaged us to invite us to your makers Discord, I was like,
This one almost died.
I'm like, that can't be right. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why?
I remember your response when I asked you if you wanted to be on the show. You were like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it, dude. I'm not understanding.
It's
I feel like I shouldn't be here, but whatever.
all of this is so surreal. As like
I've
art-
never had anything kick off.
art kids who and as art kids, you try to make art and make money off of art forever.
I've done blacksmithing, I've done photography, I've done traditional arts, I've done digital arts, I've done graffiti, I've done music. Nothing has ever stuck. This is stuck so hard. It's stuck so much. I sent out 15 sticks. I don't get it. It's crazy to me. Like this whole thing is crazy to me. I never thought I'd be on YouTube right now. It's weird.
Yeah, like there's people, in the Discord who who hype everything we do.
Since day one.
Mhm.
Since day one we post something. And
Bat has been like such a massive help also. Everybody knows who that is.
but yeah,
The collection.
the collection. But like the amount of people that'll, actually, that's why it's weird. Other shops retweet other shops in this community.
That's weird.
You're not competing with each other. You're all carving your niche in a community that everyone is in together.
Yeah.
And that's
Photography, skateboards, blacksmithing, that's all a competition. 100%.
there's only so many things. But here it's like everyone kind of knows that they're going to fill certain areas and people are looking for certain things, and some people might be more capable of making that than others, and everyone's cool with that. Everyone's fine with that. And I think that's kind of the craziest part about how something that's so community driven also goes so well from a business standpoint. We get to make things that doesn't feel like capitalism slaves.
Absolutely. And
to get to make art and give it to people, and people be like, oh my god, I want that. The fact that anyone even asks us, are you going to make more of blank, is
Yeah.
like, oh, we don't have enough.
and back on goals real quick. I would love to quit my day job. That's always a goal. I hate my job. I'm a welder. I get paid really well. I hate my job. I don't want to do that. Work 50 to 60 hours a week. And I'm doing this on the side. I would much rather just do this, hang out with my cool wife, and post really bad memes on Twitter all day. That sounds so much better than being a welder. Speaking of buying my stuff, if you use coupon code AMAVIDI on our Etsy for the next week, you get 10% off.
Aw. George put that in the chat.
It's up. I checked.
It's up right
made it
now.
work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we've hit so many goals. We didn't tell each other that being on here was one of our goals until you asked, and then I said this was my goal, and then Slug said, oh, that was my goal. I just didn't say it because I didn't want to jinx it.
Well, I'm reading the chat over here, and Shop Dad says, y'all are our coworkers. Stick may be the product that ends up on some blog somewhere that helps the whole community break through to mainstream someday.
It sure would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I'm vending a punk show. Like if they will have us, I will show up. There's another one in June in Denton at like Killer Tacos. that's like a kink market. I'm gonna go set up a table. It's free. I'm gonna go set up a table. Like more people need to know about this, because like before Dark Path and Manda on TikTok, I had no idea this existed. I knew about Bad Dragon and stuff like that, but that's all I knew. I didn't know that there were other makers like us out there. I didn't know there were so many of us, and I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
TikTok algorithm really coming through here.
Honestly,
TikTok algorithm found you a career.
I hope so.
That's bizarre. That is the wildest sentence that would make no sense 5 years ago. Like,
yeah,
that's such a time specific sentence. That is
Yeah.
wild.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Why don't you wave goodnight to everybody and hang out for a few minutes. I'm going to wrap up, and you and I'll chat in just a few minutes. All right?
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, geez. I am... that was so much fun. Those guys are great. It reminded me of my little punk days, back when I was a little punk. I was a lowercase punk. Dead Milkmen, Black Flag, Henry Rollins, Jello Biafra. Yes. I'm out. Next week. Who do I have next week? I have a schedule. Who is on schedule for next week? Who is that? I'm not sure. I have a schedule. Watch my Twitters. It'll be there. But next week we'll be back 7 o'clock Central Time. Do the conversions to wherever you are. Things that if you want to support us, you can go to amavidi.com. Buy the things. You want to learn how to do what we do, imixxtoys.com. You want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/amavidi. You can watch us on the YouTubes, youtube.com/amavidi. Anyway, there'll be links to all the things down in the video description. And with that, I'm out. Bye.